What's going on, everybody? Today we're talking color grading, and more specifically, how to make your photos look as cinematic as possible. If you're new around here, my name is Finn Badgley. I'm a commercial fashion and portrait photographer, and a lot of times you hear people talk about getting this cinematic look, and what exactly does that mean? A lot of times it means that the photo, video, anything has a specific look to it that emotes a feeling and kind of draws you into it, because it's a very broad term that can kind of get overused, and I might be playing into that a little bit. So let's jump in here. We're in Lightroom here. I got a photo with the very talented model and actor Avi Glenn here. This was from our first shoot together, our initial meeting, and you can kind of see off the bat it is a little underexposed. So the first thing I'm going to do is up the exposure a bit. Now the reason I underexposed it was to kind of save the highlights, which we love to do. So I'm going to bring that back immediately. Pump up the shadows just a little bit, come back down on the exposure. Up the contrast just a little bit, and right off the bat that's looking much better. Now first I'm going to get all my kind of basic corrections here, and then I'm actually going to focus on getting that look that we want. I kind of want to crop it just a little bit. There we go, straightening it out a little. Okay, and we want our highlights to be as close to blowing out as possible, but not quite. Now, I'll avoid the texture and clarity for the moment. I will drop in here though and give it a bit more of an S curve. Here we go, and you can see there. That's just kind of giving it a little bit of a faded kind of feel there. Now, I do like things a little more on the yellowy orange side, so I'm going to turn the reds a little bit more towards the oranges. Don't mind that. And then let's see what our hue, saturation, luminance is affecting. Pump up those skin tones a little bit. Now that suit is blue, but does the blue affect it? Just a little bit. Okay. Now what I like to do is add a little bit of something in the shadows, and to do that effectively and only giving like a little touch, I'm gonna come over here and get kind of a little bit of a greenish blue going on. I don't want it too blue, because overall I'm gonna tone this photo fairly warm. And then I'll bring the balance all the way over, and you can see that just kind of adds a bit of a little extra something in there. Now, okay, that's looking good for the moment. And then I wanna just change the temperature a little bit, like so, make it feel a little warmer. The ground and everything is wet. It had been raining this day, so I kind of want it to feel like just after the rain kind of vibe. Now we have the sky up here, so I kind of want to bring a little bit of a gradient off of that and kind of play off of what's going on there, as it is hitting their skin a bit and giving a nice little backlight. I just kind of want to up that a little bit more, make it a little more prominent. Currently it's doing the opposite of what I want, so there, we'll do that. And get a nice feather going on that guy. Now, I do have it preset for a bunch of things, but we'll just up the exposure a little bit there. And we'll add just a little bit of warmth too. Let's see, how does that look? Now you do have to be careful, because it is easy to overdo it in these kind of scenarios. But with that in mind, the body is looking a little dark there, so I might just bring up another mask, just adding a little bit more exposure down there. Can kind of bring it and drag it up like so, just to make it a little more prominent there. There we go, that is looking quite a bit better. Now I almost want to add a bit of green to this, just to give kind of a bit more of that almost grungy vibe, just because you can see back here in the alley with all the staircases coming down and whatnot, it just kind of adds to that urban city feel. And then just to add a little more focus on them here, we're gonna, that's noise reduction, I don't want that, I want just a slight vignette, just very minor. Feather that like there's no tomorrow. How about our midpoint? Yeah, we'll bring it in just a little bit, so that way we're not getting distracted by the stuff back here, and it's still keeping our attention right where we want it. Might bring my shadows up just a little bit more, and then up that contrast again. So that way we get a little more detail into everything that's going on here. Okay, that's looking pretty good so far. I think pretty happy with it. I might bring down the vibrance just a touch, so that way I can come down here. Maybe I'll back this off a little bit and back it off the shadows, so it is very slight. So I do want a bit more warmth in the highlights without completely destroying our skin tone here. So we'll come in nice and close and we'll just see what kind of color we're getting out of this. Want it to be right around there, and then we'll bring it back. So it's just a very kind of subtle thing going on there. Let's see how we're looking. May want to pump up the highlights just a little bit more. Watching the histogram on the side there. Okay. See what happens if we haze it up a bit. I'm not a big fan of that. Okay, we won't go there. Let's see. Now, based on the look of this photo, just based on that grungy feel, I do want to add just a little bit of grain in here, just to kind of, you can see it kind of just adds to that mood that's going on. And that's really what you're looking for when you're creating a cinematic look, is you want that mood to come through. Now, obviously in Photoshop I would do skin retouching and take out little minor things here and there, like that in the background. That's usually what I would use Photoshop for. I know in Lightroom they have the tools to get rid of that, but for the sake of this, this is just color grading in general, so I won't get too much into that. And I think that's looking pretty good. If we go to a before and after, you can really see how much has actually been done there and how we kind of really bring out that mood and that vibe and get that cinematic feel out of this. Alright, well there you have it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Show some love to that like button. Drop a comment down below if you like this kind of thing, if you want to see more tutorials from me in the future. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos, and I'll see you on the next one.